The ancient city of Ayodhya, steeped in mythology and history, has been the epicenter of a long-standing religious and political conflict in India. This city, located on the banks of the Sarayu River, is not just a geographical location but a symbol of deep-seated beliefs and historical narratives that have shaped the cultural and religious landscape of the country. This dispute revolves around the Ram Janmabhoomi, the revered birthplace of Lord Ram, a central deity in Hinduism. Lord Ram, often depicted as the epitome of virtue and righteousness, holds a special place in the hearts of millions of Hindus, and the site of his birth is considered one of the most sacred places in Hindu tradition. For centuries, this site, where once a Mughal-era mosque named Babri Masjid stood, has been a flashpoint for communal tensions between Hindus and Muslims. The mosque, built in the 16th century by the Mughal Emperor Babur, has been at the center of a contentious debate over its origins and the legitimacy of its construction on what many believe to be the birthplace of Lord Ram. This essay delves into the historical trajectory of the Ayodhya Dispute, exploring its evolution from early claims to its profound implications in contemporary India. The narrative is not just about a piece of land, but about the identity, faith, and historical consciousness of a nation that has seen its fair share of conflicts and reconciliations. The heart of the matter lies in the belief held by many Hindus that the Babri Masjid was erected on the very spot where Lord Ram was born. This belief is not merely a matter of religious sentiment, but is deeply rooted in the cultural and historical narratives that have been passed down through generations. This belief is deeply intertwined with their faith and cultural identity, making Ayodhya a site of immense religious significance. The city becomes a living testament to their devotion and a focal point for their spiritual aspirations. The dispute gained momentum in the 20th century, evolving from a local concern into a national movement that reshaped Indian politics and society. The events of 1992, when the Babri Masjid was demolished by a large group of activists, marked a turning point that brought the issue to the forefront of national consciousness. The narrative of the Ayodhya Dispute is a complex tapestry woven with threads of faith, politics, and historical grievances. It is a story that reflects the broader struggles within Indian society, where religious and political identities often intersect and clash. It is a saga marked by periods of relative calm, interspersed with moments of heightened tension and violence. The cycles of peace and conflict have left an indelible mark on the collective memory of the people, shaping their perceptions and responses to the ongoing dispute. Understanding this intricate history is crucial for comprehending the sensitivities surrounding the site and the enduring legacy of the conflict. The Ayodhya Dispute is not just a historical issue, but a living, breathing part of India's contemporary reality, influencing its social and political dynamics. As we journey through this tumultuous history, we will uncover the layers of claims and counterclaims, the role of key actors, and the events that led to the pivotal moment of the Babri Masjid's demolition in 1992. This event was not just a physical act of destruction, but a symbolic moment that reverberated across the nation, altering the course of its history. Ultimately, we will examine the cultural significance of Lord Ram in India and the indelible mark this dispute has left on the nation's psyche. The story of Ayodhya is a reflection of the broader narrative of India, where history, faith, and politics are inextricably linked, shaping the identity and future of its people. The year 1528 witnessed a significant event in Ayodhya's history: the construction of the Babri Masjid during the reign of the Mughal Emperor Babur. This period marked a time of great architectural and cultural development under the Mughal Empire, which left an indelible mark on the Indian subcontinent. The mosque, named after Babur, was built by his general Mir Baqi. Mir Baqi was a key figure in Babur's military campaigns and played a significant role in consolidating Mughal power in the region. His contributions to the empire were not just limited to military conquests, but also extended to architectural endeavors. This edifice, while an architectural marvel of its time, became a point of contention due to its location. The Babri Masjid was an example of the Mughal architectural style, characterized by its grandeur and intricate design, which stood as a testament to the empire's architectural prowess. It is widely believed that the mosque was erected upon the ruins of a pre-existing temple dedicated to Lord Ram, a fact disputed by many historians. This belief stems from various historical texts and local traditions that suggest the site was originally a sacred Hindu place of worship. The construction of the Babri Masjid marked the beginning of a long-standing debate about the ownership and sanctity of the site. This debate has been fueled by differing historical interpretations and religious sentiments, making it a complex and sensitive issue. While some historical accounts suggest that Babur himself ordered the destruction of a temple to build the mosque, conclusive evidence remains elusive. The lack of definitive proof has led to ongoing disputes and varying narratives about the site's history. The mosque's existence in such a religiously sensitive location inevitably led to tensions. These tensions were not just confined to the local community, but resonated across the broader Indian society, reflecting the deep-seated religious and cultural divides. Hindus continued to revere the site as the birthplace of Lord Ram, while Muslims held the mosque sacred as a place of worship. This dual reverence for the site by two major religious communities added layers of complexity to the issue. This underlying discord, simmering for centuries, would periodically erupt, casting a long shadow over Ayodhya. The periodic eruptions of conflict have had significant social and political ramifications, influencing the course of Indian history. The construction of the Babri Masjid is a crucial point in the Ayodhya Dispute, marking a shift in the religious landscape of the site. This shift has had lasting impacts, shaping the narratives and identities of the communities involved. It is important to note that historical accounts from this period are often conflicting and subject to interpretation. The varying perspectives and interpretations highlight the complexities of reconstructing historical events with accuracy. Nevertheless, the mosque's presence, juxtaposed against the deeply held beliefs surrounding Ram Janmabhoomi, laid the groundwork for future conflicts. These conflicts have continued to shape the socio-political landscape of Ayodhya and India as a whole, making the Babri Masjid a symbol of the enduring struggle between historical narratives and religious beliefs. The 18th and 19th centuries saw a rise in communal tensions surrounding the disputed site in Ayodhya. Records indicate several instances of clashes between Hindus and Muslims, each community asserting their claim to the site. These conflicts, often fueled by religious zeal and local politics, highlighted the deep-seated divisions regarding the site's history and significance. The British, who by then had established their colonial rule over India, recognized the volatility of the situation. In an attempt to maintain order and prevent further escalation, the British administration intervened in 1859. They erected a fence dividing the disputed site, allowing Hindus access to the outer courtyard and Muslims to the inner courtyard where the mosque stood. This physical demarcation, while intended to pacify the situation, inadvertently solidified the division between the two communities. It served as a constant reminder of the contested nature of the site and the unresolved claims of both Hindus and Muslims. The British intervention, rather than resolving the issue, merely postponed a more significant confrontation. The Ayodhya Dispute, once confined to the local populace, began to attract attention from religious leaders and nationalist figures. The site became a symbol of the broader Hindu-Muslim divide that was increasingly being exploited during the struggle for independence. The British, through their policies and interventions, unwittingly contributed to the politicization of the dispute, setting the stage for future turmoil. The hope for a peaceful resolution to the Ayodhya dispute dwindled with India's independence in 1947. The newly formed nation was already grappling with the immense challenges of partition, which had led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history. The partition of the country along religious lines, accompanied by widespread communal violence, further aggravated tensions surrounding the Babri Masjid. The scars of partition were deep, and the communal riots that ensued left a lasting impact on the collective psyche of the nation. The site became a focal point for Hindu nationalist sentiments, with demands for the reclaiming of the birthplace of Lord Ram gaining momentum. These demands were not just about religious beliefs, but were also intertwined with a sense of cultural identity and historical grievances. A pivotal event that dramatically escalated the situation occurred in December 1949. This period was marked by heightened political activity and social unrest, as various groups sought to assert their influence in the newly independent nation. Under controversial circumstances, idols of Lord Ram were surreptitiously placed inside the Babri Masjid. This act was seen by many as a deliberate attempt to alter the status quo and assert Hindu claims over the site. This act, perceived by many Muslims as a desecration of their place of worship, sparked outrage and led to a legal battle over the ownership of the site. The legal proceedings were complex and drawn out, reflecting the deep-seated nature of the conflict. The government, in an attempt to maintain law and order, locked the gates of the disputed structure, prohibiting access to both Hindus and Muslims. This decision was intended to prevent further violence, but also highlighted the government's struggle to manage such a contentious issue. The placement of idols inside the Babri Masjid marked a turning point in the Ayodhya Dispute. It was no longer just a matter of historical claims, but had become a flashpoint for contemporary political and religious tensions. It transformed the narrative from a historical debate into a contemporary political crisis. The issue began to dominate political discourse, influencing elections and shaping the policies of successive governments. The event also brought to light the growing influence of Hindu nationalist groups who sought to mobilize public opinion and exert pressure on the government to resolve the issue in their favor. These groups used the Ayodhya dispute as a rallying point to further their broader political agenda. The incident also exposed the limitations of the newly independent Indian state in addressing such a sensitive and deeply entrenched conflict. The government's actions were often reactive rather than proactive, reflecting the complexities of governing a diverse and divided society. The government's decision to lock the mosque, while intended to prevent further unrest, effectively froze the dispute, leaving it festering for the coming decades. This inaction allowed the issue to simmer, periodically erupting into violence and political turmoil. This period laid bare the challenges of reconciling competing religious claims within a secular democracy. It underscored the need for a nuanced and inclusive approach to conflict resolution, one that respects the diverse fabric of Indian society.